She called me too poor to be her husband after 3 years together. Now I own a company, and she's begging for another chance. I'm Jack, 27 years old, raised in a gritty, working-class corner of Ohio where birthdays meant mom's homemade chocolate cake, not some high-end table reservation with champagne and a bill that could feed a family for a month. My father, a grease-stained mechanic who worked overtime every weekend, and my mother, a tireless nurse who still had enough love in her to make everyone feel like home, taught me loyalty, integrity, and the unshakable importance of showing up for the people you love. That's the foundation I carried into every aspect of my life, especially when it came to love. I met Hannah in college. She was sharp, confident, the kind of girl who walked into a room and turned heads effortlessly. She studied marketing. I was focused on computer science. I wasn't flashy, didn't have designer labels or a fancy car, but I paid attention. I remembered her coffee order, the way she bit her lip when she was nervous, and how she lit up talking about her dreams. That's what I thought love was: showing up, knowing the details, being steady. That's what I gave her for over 3 years. She shared holidays with my family, sat beside my mom on Thanksgiving, and took pictures with my dad in his oil-stained overalls. My parents welcomed her like she was already one of us. Even when my dad warned me that she seemed a little high maintenance, he still said she had a good heart. And I believed that with everything in me. After landing a steady job as a software developer, I started saving for a ring. Nothing flashy, just a thoughtful proposal over dinner at her favorite rooftop spot. Something quiet, intimate, real. I had the speech ready. I had the ring box in my jacket pocket. When I dropped to one knee, I expected surprise, maybe tears, but not the look she gave me. It wasn't joy or overwhelm. It was discomfort, almost like embarrassment. She didn't even look at the ring before she said, "Can we talk?" We stepped outside. My heart was racing, thinking maybe she was overwhelmed. But her words cut through that hope like a blade. She crossed her arms, let out a heavy sigh, and said, "Jack, you're a good guy, okay? But you're not the man I see myself marrying." I stood there, blinking, trying to make sense of it. "We've been together 3 years," I said, almost in a whisper. She let out a cold laugh. Not a playful one, a cruel, mocking one. "That was just time pass. You really thought I was going to marry into your family? Your mom's sweet, but let's be real. Your whole background? Trash. You still live like it's the 90s. I need someone who matches my lifestyle, Jack. You're not that guy." I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't shout. I just stood there in silence, letting the weight of her words sink in. "So I was just a placeholder?" I asked quietly. She shrugged. "You're too poor to be my husband, Jack. You were comfortable, not forever." There was a long silence between us. I finally nodded and said, "Thanks for being honest." Then I turned around and walked away. She didn't follow. She didn't call that night. I didn't expect her to. Something in me shut off in that moment. Not broken, but changed. The humble, predictable guy who'd always let people walk over him was gone. And I wasn't about to sit around mourning a woman who treated my love like a discounted sweater she'd outgrown. What she didn't know was I was always more than I let on. I just didn't feel the need to prove it. But now I was going to. After that night, I went ghost. I didn't call her, didn't stalk her Instagram, didn't mention her to friends. Not out of pettiness, out of survival. Because the more I replayed that conversation, the more I realized I'd been nothing more than her emotional couch. Soft, reliable, easy. I thought 3 years meant loyalty. She thought it meant stagnation. So I turned all that pain into fuel. I started freelancing on top of my full-time job, late nights, early mornings, no weekends off. I built 2 apps within 6 months. One took off locally. Suddenly, I was getting real offers. I formed an LLC, quit my job, and landed my first $80,000 contract. No viral success, no overnight fame, just quiet grit and relentless growth. My life shifted. I started going to networking events. I met designers, entrepreneurs, coders, hungry people with drive, not flash. My confidence grew, not just from the money, but from the proof that I could build something worthwhile. Then one afternoon, I got a message. "Hey Jack, long time, saw your app on LinkedIn. That's amazing. We should catch up." It was Hannah. I just stared at it. Not because I felt anger, but because I felt nothing. The only reason she noticed me again was because the world did. I didn't reply. A few days later, another message. "I'm really proud of you, Jack. I mean it. Didn't expect you to come this far so fast." She started liking my posts, watching my stories, dropping emojis like we were back in college. But I wasn't that Jack anymore. My worth wasn't tied to her approval anymore. Still, I wanted closure. Not revenge, just a moment of full circle. So I replied, "Hey Hannah, appreciate the message. I'm in a really good place right now. Hope you are too." She responded instantly. "I am. I've been thinking about us a lot lately. I miss how real it was with you." That word real hit different coming from her. We agreed to meet at a cafe near my new apartment. She walked in looking like she hadn't changed a bit. Designer bag, perfect hair, that same carefree smile. But there was something in her eyes. She knew she'd messed up. "Wow," she said, looking me over. "You've really come up." I just smiled. "Yeah, life's been good." She leaned forward. "I was so stupid, Jack. I thought money meant everything. I've dated guys who had it all, but none of them made me feel like you did." I stirred my coffee. "You told me I was just time pass. Remember?" Her face fell. "I was immature. I didn't mean it, but she did. And now that I'd become everything she said I'd never be, she wanted back in." She kept talking like we were rekindling something, telling me about her last boyfriend, how he was rich but empty, cold, detached, how she missed my simplicity, my kindness. But I just listened, because 3 years ago, I might have jumped at the chance to win her back. Now, I had too much to lose: peace, clarity, self-respect. Inviting her back would have been like slipping into an old pair of jeans that didn't fit anymore. Familiar? Sure, but no longer meant for me. "You know," she said, looking down, "we were really good together. We had something solid." I looked at her and replied, "Did we? Or was I just your easy option until someone flashier came along?" She opened her mouth, but I cut her off. "You didn't just reject me, Hannah. You mocked my family. You laughed when I said I loved you. That wasn't immaturity. That was who you were when you stopped pretending." She went silent. "I didn't come here to rekindle anything. I just wanted to see if you even remembered what you said." Her voice dropped. "Ido. And I regret it every day." I nodded. "Good. Regret is healthy. But some things don't get a second shot." I stood up, left money on the table, and looked her in the eyes one final time. "I hope you find someone who fits your lifestyle, but I'm not for sale. Not anymore." Then I walked out. No drama, no music, just air in my lungs and a quiet kind of peace that I hadn't felt in years. Later that week, she messaged me again. Just one line: "If you ever change your mind, I'll be here." I didn't reply, not because I hated her, but because I was finally done living in the past. These days, I don't check her Instagram. Don't wonder who she's with. I'm too focused on building the life she never believed I could have. Alongside someone new who doesn't see my roots as a joke, but as the reason I'm strong. Because the best revenge isn't telling someone you made it. It's making it so loudly that they have to watch from the sidelines, knowing they were the one who let you go. Thanks for watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more stories that'll leave you speechless.